Hello, welcome to Pecan Corner. I'm Tina, and today I'm canning leftovers. I have some leftover lamb stew, and I have leftover barbecue chicken. I need to do this. I need to film this barbecue chicken recipe one of these days. It was my grandmother's, but it's an old recipe. She got it as a teenager from a grandmother, and it probably dates back to the 19th century. So the water is frozen up this morning. It's cold. So I've got a jug of water here to use by the sink. I have one video where I have a pump that'll fit into my gallon jugs of stored water. But I didn't have to break into those because I knew it was going to freeze. So I just pulled up a little water, and the rest of the house doesn't freeze, just the kitchen sink. So I've got my jars clean and warming up in here, and now I'm going to put my food into pots and warm it up, because I just pulled it out of the refrigerator and I can't put it in the jars this cold. It'd take it forever to heat up in the canner. So I'll be back once I get that done. Alrighty, now then, I got everything heated up, and I added a lot of water to the stew because it was a really thick stew. So I added a good 1/3 of the jar of water. I'll have to thicken it up again when I open it, but the ingredients in it will swell up some as they're cooking, and so I didn't want to risk it getting too tight and making into a clump in the jar. Oops! I better clean off my tops. Just a little vinegar here. And while I've got my vinegar out, we have really hard water, so I have to add vinegar to the canner to keep from getting a white scale all over all my jars. It kind of bakes it on there if you don't. Okay, just a couple of tablespoons of vinegar is all it takes to counteract that. This year I went to the expense of buying all new canning rings, and I tried to look for things that were on sale, so there were discontinued ones in colors, so I have some that are colored. I sprayed them down with a clear coat in hopes that it'll help keep them from rusting so bad. And then I threw out all my old rusty ones. Since I have to put the vinegar in the canner, it increases the rust that I get on these. So, all right, now let's get our top on. Now then, I'm going to process these for the maximum length of time. Oh, I took I forgot to tell you. I took the chicken, what was left, off the bone. And so that's the contents of 4 chicken legs in there, and the excess of the sauce. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at our little book while our canner heats and see which. I think the meat, of course, is going to be require the most time. So. Quart's 90 minutes, so it's going to process at 90 minutes. As soon as it starts gets hot enough, I'll watch for this little dude here to pop up. Once it pops up, I'll set my timer for 10 minutes and I'll let it vent for 10 minutes. That makes sure there's no air left in the canner, and then I'll add my weight on. Now our altitude is such that I can't do the 10 pounds of pressure. I have to use my 15-pound weight because of our altitude. We're at about 1,500 feet. So, all right, I'll be back when things are going a little bit. All right, these have been done for several hours. It's nearly 6 o'clock at night now, and I put these in this morning at what was it? 10 maybe. And but anyway, I just opened the canner. I usually let them sit, you know, until they're cool. Sometimes I just let them sit all night. But boy, I can smell these turnips. They usually say not to can turnips, but there's, you know, turnips in this lamb stew. And so I went ahead and did it. But now I can kind of understand why, because you can sure smell it. So there's the products of my labor. 4 jars of lamb stew and 1 of barbecue chicken. And we'll see if they all sealed by morning. We'll see. And that's it. I hope that Peachy Prepper, I think I mentioned her in a recent video, is a lady that she lived in Texas, had a channel, and she passed away a couple of years ago. And she's the one that I first learned about canning leftovers from. She used to can all kinds of leftovers. And so it's just, you know, like the stew. We don't particularly care for canned potatoes, but we like frozen potatoes even less. So to freeze that stew would have meant it was a lower quality product. So canning it gives us a better leftover, you know, when we get ready for it. So, you know, the people teach us things. We can learn from all kinds of people. I was just thinking today, I learned something from the people that comment on my videos. A lady wrote to me recently. She had watched a really old video of mine about making your own coffee creamer. And she told me about, she said she uses sunflower lecithin to emulsify hers so that it doesn't separate. But I didn't know that they're made of sunflower lecithin. I thought you could only get the soy kind, and we try to avoid soy products because it's bad for men's health. So I was pretty excited to find out about sunflower lecithin, and I'm going to try it with a recipe that I want to make for you guys pretty soon. So, you know, I learned that from her. And then a few days ago, a lady commented on my video about my meat tenderizer, and there was a little plate that came with it that I thought was to protect the table, and apparently it's a little meat guide. All this time I've been using it the wrong way. Anyway, so I learned the right way to do that. So I appreciate all of you folks that comment, and those that share information with me or tell me where I'm, you know, sometimes it's just a matter of taste, whether something is done right or wrong. But I always, like I said, I always learn something, and I love the way y'all share and the way you share how you did it. Recently, my most recent little video about the using Shumac. Somebody came in, and I apologize for not giving names, but I'm not looking at the site right now. So. But a nice lady came in and said they used to do that, and so she told me how to make 2 different kinds of tea with it, how to make a cold tea and how to make how she makes hot tea with it. So so there again, we all learned something. So I really just want y'all to know I really appreciate it. I notice when you post, and sometimes YouTube doesn't show them to me right away. Just the other day when I was going through responding to some posts, I found a bunch from a year ago that I had never seen, and so I apologize if I didn't answer you or you know, click a like or somehow acknowledge your post. It's just because I didn't see it. And so anyway, just wanted y'all to know. So thanks a bunch. Y'all have a great night, and try to stay warm out there. Bye.